The FDA today banning a controversial red dye found in so many foods sold in the U.S., citing a risk of cancer. Ann Thompson is with us. Ann, why red dye?
Well, Lester, this red dye is red dye number 3, and it's what makes maraschino cherries, strawberry milkshakes, candies, and many other food products a color so appealing you just can't resist. Well, the FDA says no more. It is banning the synthetic dye made from petroleum because of 2 studies that showed high levels cause cancer in male rats. Food manufacturers will have 2 years to reformulate their products. Red dye number 3 was banned in cosmetics some 35 years ago. This is a big win for advocacy groups, Lester, who have been literally fighting for decades to get this ban.
Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Give me a follow on X at Green_Jericho and make sure you grab yourself some merch. So this is a big deal and I'm so glad to see it, but there is a lot more that needs to be done. These food dyes, these red dyes, red 40, red 3, which has been banned, the yellow, blue, and green, and all these other colors, man, the shit is terrible for us. And like you heard it in the clip there, it's made from petroleum. That's used to make gasoline and Vaseline, right? Not to be ingested in our bodies and by our children. And my wife and I, it's been a few years now that, probably 5-6 years now, that we've removed red dye from our kids' diet as far as what we buy. Now, my son is going to be 9 soon. My daughter just turned 13. So they're at school, they're with their friends sometimes. So we can't control what they do there. And we've communicated with their parents, hey, try to keep them away from this and that, but it's not perfect. But in our home, we don't buy that shit. And it's detrimental to their mental health, their physical health. It can give cancer. It alters their personality. It can give them tics and things like that. So that red dye and the other dyes are fucking terrible. Red dye 40 is the worst. I like that it's happening. And I don't mean to fucking complain, even though we're getting something removed from our diet, from the food, from the products that we eat, but it should have been done a long time ago. I do not like that it's going to take 2 years. And then there's another group who has more time to get the red dye. I don't know if it's the medical, medicine and shit like that, but I don't like that it's going to take 2 years, or that they have 2 years to get it out of there. It should be sooner than that, for the simple fact that in Europe, they banned these things a long time ago. So talk to your European counterparts. These companies that make food and candy and shit like that, they have overseas divisions, Skittles and stuff like that. They have overseas divisions. Talk to them. As a matter of fact, they've been doing it, because you'll sell the horrible shit here, but not over there. So you already have the capabilities to produce the products without these dyes in them. So do it. 2 years is way too fucking long. Way too long. It says, what are the red dye? This article right here, I believe it's in Forbes. No, it's on MSN. 1 second. Newsweek, excuse me. What are the side effects of red dye number 3? The FDA bans food and drink dye. And if it was banned in makeup over 30 years ago, what the fuck? The United States Food and Drug Administration has banned red dye number 3, citing concerns over the ingredient as a significant cancer risk. The ban will take effect in January 2027 or 2028, giving companies time to phase out the use of the chemical from food or ingested drugs, respectively. Okay, so it must be the drug companies. Why it matters. Red dye number 3, also known as FD&C red number 3, or orithazine, is a synthetic food coloring derived from petroleum that has been used since 1907 to give foods and drinks a vivid red hue. Red dye number 3 is a more selectively used dye. Red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6 account for 90% of food dyes commonly consumed in the U.S., according to Rupa Health, a health laboratory. So if red 40, yellow 5, and yellow 6 account for 90% of the food dyes, then why don't you get rid of that shit first? Why just red number 3? The dye has been used for everything from candy to fruit snacks to baked goods and some beverages, particularly food products with a strawberry flavor such as Yoo-Hoo strawberry drink or Betty Crocker's fruit by the foot, who millions of kids have consumed. Why did the FDA ban red dye number 3? Health advocates scored a major win on Wednesday when the FDA announced that it would ban the use of the dye. The ban resulted from a petition made in 2022 about the additive, which prompted a review of the legality of allowing the chemical to remain in use. In a press release titled FDA to revoke authorization for the use of red number 3 in food and ingested drugs, the FDA said that as a matter of law, it has amended its color additive regulations to ban red dye number 3. Again, 2 years, that's too fucking long. That's 2 more years of people consuming this shit, running the risk of cancer. The FDA argued that the red dye number 3 has been linked to cancer in male rats exposed to it at high levels. Research has found that the way FD&C red number 3 causes cancer in male rats does not occur in humans. And exposure levels of humans are typically much lower than those that cause the effects shown in male rats. However, the petition specifically asked whether the dye should be banned under the Delaney Clause, enacted in 1960 as part of a color additive amendment to the FD&C Act. The clause prohibits the authorization of food or color additive if it has been found to induce cancer in humans or animals. So finally, they came to this realization since 1960. That shit's terrible. We shouldn't have things like that in our food at all. If it poisons us, and to be honest, I don't believe that. It doesn't cause cancer in humans. Bullshit. Give the rats a dose of 1 pack of fruit roll-ups and see what that shit does to them. I mean, you see other countries banning it for that reason and the reasons that I mentioned. So why would you do that? Why is that allowed? Why are you allowed to put poison in our food? I don't understand that. We make food all the time in our homes without putting poison in it, unless we use something with this food dye bullshit in it. But do you sprinkle arsenic or something in your food before you feed your family? No. So it's totally possible for these products to be made with 100% natural ingredients. There are companies out there like Trader Joe's and other ones who use 100% natural ingredients. It's possible. So fucking do it. There are plenty of products, and again, learning this through removing that shit from our kids' diet. So looking for alternatives that use natural food colorants like fruits and vegetables, beets and things of that nature. They've been using foods to dye things for thousands of years. So it is possible to produce a quality product with all natural ingredients on a large scale. So fucking get to it. FDA, you rotten federal leech on our government. You bloated, overreaching, rotten piece of shit to allow poison into the masses' food, into the population's food. Another federal organization that can be heavily trimmed, if not gotten rid of altogether. Anything with an F in it, you're on the chopping block. You're on the clock. Federal this and federal that. That means bullshit to me. Federal means bullshit. Federal means too big and overreaching. That's what that word means to me. So whether it's the federal food or the Federal Drug or Food and Drug Administration or the Federal Bureau of Investigation or the Board of Education, whatever federal entity or department or group, you need to be examined intensely. What did Eddie Murphy say in Beverly Hills Cop? Is I'll make a phone call and have people down here to crawl up your ass with a microscope. Let's start crawling up their ass with a microscope. FDA. How many government agencies could we completely do away with and be totally fine, if not better? How many government agencies and entities could we fucking completely do without 100% and be doing even better, be even healthier? Red dye number 3. You better get that shit out of our food. And the red 40 and the yellow 6 and the yellow 4, the blue whatever, you're next. Assholes. Anyway, we're going to end on a good note, like we always do. Good Gun, a story where a good citizen does something good to a bad person because they deserve it. Meet me in the comments. What do you think about red dye number 3 being banned? And should the other ones follow suit quick, fast, and in a damn hurry? But you know how it goes. Try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. I'm out.
Surveillance video from the Marathon gas station store near 81st and Ashland shows a man who appears to be struggling to hold himself up get let in by a worker early Friday morning. Police radio traffic reveals the moment after he came here for help.
Customer said he's been shot, he's bleeding everywhere.
Once the man enters, he sits down on the floor and waits for paramedics to arrive. Police say this 60-year-old man was shot in the arm and back. Officers roped off the gas station as this is connected to another scene in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood. The other was down the block by 82nd and Ashland, where a bicycle is surrounded with many evidence markers.
Yeah, the gas station kid. He was at the bank trying to get money when the other guys tried to rob him.
According to CPD, the victim was walking nearby at around 5:30 a.m. when another man on a bike approached him, pulled out his gun, and demanded the victim's belongings. The 60-year-old, who police say is a concealed carry holder and has a valid FOID card, pulled out his own gun, and the two exchanged gunfire.
Asking for 5 rounds and 13 rounds in the street.
If you do own a firearm and you are a concealed carrier, that you know how to use the weapon and use the weapon safely and store the weapon safely.
The suspect was hit several times and was taken to Advocate Christ Medical Center, where he later died from his injuries. The victim was also taken to the same hospital, but is expected to be okay.